So to kick it off, we have Francisco. The mic is yours.
This poem is called I Miss the Inequality of Paris. It's about Algerians in the ghetto of Paris. It's in this kind of space I can deal with defensive souls. Sometimes you take offense at why we're looking at each other in the mirrors of a barbershop across a suspicious police station. Really, it's the hurt that affords me this plane ticket to Paris. Why are you in Paris if your distaste makes you desperate? You're playing your Arabic music too loud. Maybe Islam is not the answer. Maybe it's barbershops that give hope to young Algerians, work and brotherhood. 4 Algerian men, some more or less frantic about life. Tell me, what do you think of the French? The French are no good. The Algerian barber tells me, all day life is not that complicated in Paris, just reinforcing our childish ways and our adulthood careers. A little Algerian flag at the corner next to scissors and clippers. Look around. We are at least 3 kilometers from Sacré-Cœur Church, at least too many generations away from pretty French women that want to sit down with us to have coffee, waiting for you to lose that Arabic. Starving angels will eventually eat the delicacies of a voluptuous dessert. This poem is called San Francisco is Not Paris. The assumption is that Latin Americans won't come to San Francisco without being exploited. In the case of Paris, I'm curious to know why many Latinos didn't end up convinced that here was superior. Within a few generations, all my people will all turn leftist, and they will turn against me. All the leftists will fight with the far left. Everyone in Latin America went to the streets. When nothing else works, you must try the Socratic method. Some Latinos showed up in San Francisco, and others, maybe with more money or whiter, ended up in Paris. Meanwhile, I'm getting a haircut with a 100-year-old Mexican woman in a hair salon. I look around in San Francisco and realize that it is much more beautiful in Paris. After all, it was Eduardo Galeano that came here before me. Last year, I was a Trocadero. I just started to realize and listen to Miles Davis and Nefertiti, and I realized that I was a writer. I was eating tabbouleh all day. Immigrants were doing all the same shit all over again every day. Good things were happening that shouldn't be happening to a lower class Latino like me. I was told, yes, I love Facundo Cabral. His song, No Soy de Aquí, No Soy de Allá, is the essence of the immigrant experience. I can tell that people in Paris knew that we were enjoying our lives more than a lot of people. Did you know that immigrants in San Francisco were happy to be subservient for the most part? Just last year, I was seeing the Guernica last time in Reina Sofia. Now I'm listening to humble Mexican workers, 1,000 of them maybe, 1,000 Marias with shotguns to their head, 1,000 people in concentration camps, 1,000 white gringos telling us our place in the world, a baby being told its place in the world too soon, a suffocating throat. California is not healing itself. Maybe I will spend more time in nature. Apparently most of San Francisco wasn't speaking English in the first place. Or in other words, we built a city with $2 and a few hammers. We had heroes in our hemisphere that painted and cried and spoke, but we decided to find sadistic pleasure in the California landscape, or how East LA was alive and thriving when Oscar de la Hoya fought, how farm workers made love with dirt in their eyes. We weren't scared of the desert because heat runs through our blood. The first thing we will feel is the tragic comedy, or how the Bracero program in the 1940s brought out the best in us. We still wouldn't be able to make love to everybody else. In those days across the Atlantic, white men in Paris were yelling at Algerians too loudly. How abuelitas preferred to go back to Mexico City only to buy $6 bus tickets to see Teotihuacan pyramids. This is the cure for poverty, to make yourself feel tall like a pyramid. You won't have to clean or work for all these times, all these years. According to the survey, most of California stood somewhere between bridges of Central American women that plant for life cooking pupusas We should have worn suits instead. You can't make it in the United States of America selling pupusas in the same corner as the white gringo with the other techies. If you smile for many hours, we will end up on a boat in Paris. Maybe the Algerians are the Mexicans and the Mexicans are the Algerians, boiling pots of water of tamales for some ritualistic magic. Family members all over the fucking place. It was only a matter of time before this was gonna happen. California taught me many things and how to pay for confused immigrants. Here I am, I'm on a boat in Paris writing down the sign working class Mexican, and nobody understands why I'm high off of life. Even though the ride ends in 1 hour. Apparently, boiling pots of water taught me about East Los Angeles, which taught me about why we didn't speak English. I missed the inequality of Paris. Eduardo Gardiano dijo que techo, trabajo, pan, salud, educación, independencia, democracia, libertad. Estas fueron nuestras demandas en la larga noche de los 500 años. Estas hoy son nuestras exigencias. Gracias.
Thank you. And just a reminder for those who joined us, we have our sign-up list here at the desk. Feel free to add your name. Next up, Tito, to the mic.
Hi everyone. So this one's about London. I'm not sure how many people here have been to London or are from London. Hey, 3. That's good? Okay. London is burning, and I'm not talking about weed. Its people are hungry, not to mention their greed. Its youth are adrift. Our leaders don't lead. You must be ignorant to think it started with thee. It started with lies told by imperial majesty. The breaking of ties, justice becomes tragedy. Fake solutions to problems that we don't have. Even milk and honey in the heat of flames goes bad. Goes bad. But when were we ever good? We were always great, Britain, but that was because we could. Take our military, our ships, our troops, and our bombs. Catch a cheeky tan in foreign suns. In brown and black Britain, one shackled from bonds. In mega market land, wars with phones and not guns. Now we have royal babies and millionaire riot clubs. Now we have a millennium dome under which millennium will bleed. And a system built on our wants, but not on what the world needs. I think democracy dies when you and I give up. I think that's what happened in Sudan. The revolution got stuck. I'm scared we might save Sudan, but only to our bookmarks. That's where we need to go. So this is a poem I wrote a while ago, but I still I like it. It's called Thinking Unusually. My mama is a prophet. She gave birth to the future. She put prophecy before prophecy. She had a 9-month gamble. And I'm so grateful that I repay her love and affection, not by being a lawyer like her, or a businessman like my father. Instead, I write poems. I fuck up poems like future. Stare at me. Start from my eyes down to my dimple. No amount of mainstream media or colonial education will demo crazy that elects Tories to kill me. I'm not Kenny. In me is the essence of an African, a man whose ancestors were born free, hair untamed like Huey, Boondocks, Newton. You can't tame me. You can call me Looney. But if I was a white male, I might be your George Clooney. Passionate and political. The society would rise and applaud with charisma like mine, you might never be born. If I was a white male, no woman could reject me. If I was a white male, the society might elect me. And maybe I'm confused. Maybe my optimism would be abused. Maybe if I was a white male with radical ideas and a black mask, the police would still shoot to kill me. Thank you.
Thank you. So Tongo, you're up next.
There were hammers in my cradle, which made some people scared to touch me. Because God would have a devil and State Street would have a resurrection and I'd be a menace. Menace to veins. Veins that the city protects a precinct flesh. You know, people actually work in Marion. The sun actually comes up. Have you heard the one about ghetto dwellers? Bang, they all duck, but look what the heathen drug in, man. What is that, my bullet? Who is that, your son? Have you heard the one about last names? And did you know that late night talk is the car door to the soul? I don't think we've been here before. In some type of criminal heaven, controlling every headlight for miles of the journey has pain. It's the way I came. My name is on this seat. Royalty among minds would be my right hand, or be a brand new hammer, a wolf traveling at the speed cities in. Interpretations of shot men. You know, hands are the only place souls are actually found, and fists get a road trip too. Maybe you should mind me. Or maybe I paid too much attention to this black coat as I was growing up in a wrong lit room. At least the walls was nice guys. At least I got this, at least I got this ocean when her words freeze and central time is up. When my family relapses into suicidal neighborhoods and can't depend on me. When black children are sad. When there are guns everywhere. When death is here and I'm a new kind of nearsighted. She's a new kind of love that death is. Right in front of y'all passing, people get beat up. I'm not paranoid enough. You got a taste of violence. I've went through 3 funerals. The Lord gave his only begotten temper to me. Death knows me by nickname. I call it nothing cute. Lord, let me see the enemy in my circle. Let me see that the enemy is my circle. Let my circle kill me. Let me not stay dead. See, I know who I am down to the street sign. Streets pass my life back and forth. Pass me under gambling jokes and cigarettes, and here I am thinking this is what you call driving at night, or this is what you call 35 miles away. Freeway and all smeared all over the city. Tell me how you write letters with a building on top of your head, with a building feasting on you, with 1,000 bats turned to your kids, without her subtle gesture to interpret. In the middle of a backfired resurrection with a president who was out to kill you. Shit, I only got one gun to speak of still. I stay good in August and nobody talks back in traffic. And interestingly, handsome bastard, had to match a violent song. I'm like a hi-hat on its own, motherless, though less of a child. Project tiles become tires, choirs suck down liquor, 5 floors become audience for a dancing killer. You just a dancing killer. Near water walk, outline all over the state. I've seen a bullet become a cheapskate. Bodies in the bargain, handsome but hardened. Prison air, Spanish cells, black as well. Run tell about my level. And what you seen me do to water. And what you seen me do to men. Last of a dying group of friends and then another city ends. Shit, the tour guide through your robbery also in. Cigarette saying, look what I did about your silence. Ransom water and box spring gold this decade is only for accent grooming, I guess. Ransom water and box spring gold, the corner store must die. Word games, I guess, all these tons from his junk. You know, the start of mass destruction begins and ends in restaurant bathrooms that some people use and other people clean. You telling me it's a rag in the sky? Waiting for you, yes. We've written the scene, we set the stage, we should have fit in. Warehouse jobs for communists, but now more corridor and hallway have walked into our lives. Now the whistling is less playful and the barbed wire overcrowded too. My dear, if it is not a city, it is a prison. If it has a prison, it is a prison, not a city. When the courtyard talks on behalf of military issue, all walks take place outside of the body. Dear life to your left, a medieval painting to your right. None of this really makes an impression. You know, crowd people living in thin air, you have 5 minutes to learn how to see through this breeze. Hey, when a mask goes sideways, barbed wire becomes the floor, barbed wire becomes the roof, 40 feet into the sky becomes out of bounds. When a mask breaks in half, mine which way to Oscar. You know, they killed the world for the sake of giving everyone the same backstory. We watching Gary, Indiana fight itself into the sky. Old pennies for wind, for that wind feeling you get before the hood goes up and over your headache. Pennies that stick together, mocking all aspirations. Stuck together pennies was the first newspaper I ever read, along with the storefront dwelling army that always lets us down. Hey, where the Holy Spirit favors the back room, souls in a situation that offer 100 ways to remain a loser. Souls watching the clock, hoping their eyes don't lie to sad people. What's we talking about again? The narrator asked the graveyard, 10 minutes flat, said the graveyard. The funeral only took 10 minutes. Man, never tell that to anyone again. You just gonna pin the 90s on me, all 30 years of them. They watch someone know the difference between sleep and satire. The pyramid of corner stores fell on our heads. We died right away. That building wants to climb up and jump off another building. These are downtown decisions. Somewhere on this planet, it's August 7th and we running down the rust, thinking one more needs to come with me, man. What evaporated on Earth so that we could be sent back down?
All right, thank you. So Jacob, you're up next.
San Francisco, the pending miracle, hung in a gallery that offers no admission. Matchbox marauders around 16th Street, having left its host, whose pockets remain vacant. All joints have been digested, pocketbook fled to regions where minds still produce nutrients, life savings deposited in this diluted slab of concrete called a city. Mother Mary no longer looks me in the eye. When the soul is on hiatus and exempt from prayer, life transitions to distortion. Jukebox plays all but a melody, landscape turns to static, color goes on strike, the sun falls apart, melting and molding to the underground inferno, as if to say, enough is enough. I've shown you nothing but light, yet you still have a fetish for the dark. Water is a deity. Water is a 2-for-1 sale, destiny and instruction. Wine is Christ's method of communication. A handful of lace blunts led me to my evolution as a freelance prophet. Each inhale reminded me that we are not flesh but microphone. The voice within is actually a composition. Keep watch over yourself and all the flock of which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers. Be shepherd of the church of God, which he bought with his own blood. Once blood is introduced to pavement, it becomes a poem. Bart coins me art. I'm a snapshot of San Francisco, somewhere between manic and mannequin. When all the bars have finally closed, the street opens up, swallowing bits of the forgotten. A portal to purgatory. I lick my lips. Finally, the change they promised. I must limbo to reach a miracle. My misgiving was faith and faith alone. The chosen few of the mission placed hollowed out cigarillos atop their ears. Advertisement of what's to come. I will be heavily medicated all year long. Around these streets, they know me as full-time junkie. Needles are my preferred company. They don't ask questions. They don't philosophize. It's noon. I'm asleep. Night terrors never quite clock out. Who can you trust once the citizens have been replaced by demons? The city does not hide the fact that it is an apparition. The pastor outside of the 24th station tracks me down my eyes and says, God is a coffee cup. God is you. God is... Blackouts are the only family members I have left. Potent forgetfulness is my superpower in the city of mortals. Thank you.
So up next we have one of our MoAD family, Selman. Welcome to the mic.
Hi, my name is Somin and I'm actually from South Korea. And I'm currently taking an internship program here. So today I'll read mine first in Korean because I used to write poems in Korean, and then translated version of that, the following one. So, okay, I'll get started. 우리는 정말 새로 시작할 수 있을까? 고작 단물 빠진 꿈을 꾸기 위해 지나간 일을 잊어야 했다니. 저녁마다 노을이 제품에 키운 별들에 찔려 죽어야 했다니. 가까스로 작업하면 순환선이고 정차하는 용마다 간이역이다. 이런 것에도 설레는 인생이라면 여행은 떠나는 것이 아니라 되돌아오는 것. 또다시 멈춰선 차창 밖에는 노을 위로 흐드러진 단풍 밑에 하늘과 땅 사이를 분간할 수 없는데 벼랑간 나는 헤드라이트 앞에 놓인 짐승처럼 깜깜해져 새하얀 눈을 뜨고 잃어버린 세 번째 눈을 찾아 앉은 자리 밑을 더듬어 보는데 물컹 귀퉁이에서 만져지는 누군가 씻다 뱉은 껌 조각 손가락이 달라붙어 오래 떨어지지 않았다. 우리는 해마다 내년을 준비한다. 신발들은 밑창이 다 닳기 전에 버려지고 그러나 정말로 우리가 새로운 것을 믿는다면 지금부터 시작이라는 마법 같은 문구와 함께 영원히 새로 시작할 것 같아. 시작만 하다 정작 무엇도 해보지 못한 채 꼭 하루살이만큼만 살다 가게 될 것 같아. 마침내 공룡처럼 걸을 것이다. 디딘 자국마다 단단한 화석이 될 때까지 잊지 않고 돌아다 보는. Okay, and the translated version. Can we really begin again? How can we simply forget the past, just to dream a dream without sweetness? Every evening, the sunset has to be stabbed by stars that the sunset itself has been incubating. It turns out to be a loop line that we've got on in haste, and to be a brief stop where we've stepped off. If we call this a journey as well, a journey is not about leaving, but returning. Looking out the window from where I departed, suddenly I got all confused, with maple leaves stretching their hands to the flaming sunset. In a moment, I became a beast in front of headlights, blind, eyes white, looking for my lost third eye. I fumbled under the seat. A sticky piece of gum my fingers touched, and they stayed like that for a bit of time. Every year, we plan for the next year. Shoes are thrown away before they're actually worn out. If we truly believe in new things, though, with the magical phrase, "Now is the beginning," then we would end up beginning forever. Forever beginning, but nothing really real completed. And we would be dead like a mayfly. So I would tread like a dinosaur until all my footprints become solid fossils, looking back on every step with all the unforgotten memories. Thank you.
Blackwell walking for Nia Wilson. The road's so dark, you can barely see him. Hands up in surrender, silhouette hugged tight to the concrete, so you can't separate skin from sidewalk. It's ironic though, because dead men don't walk, which begs the question, who gets to walk alone at night? We already know black hands are a crime of possession, but possession becomes prize, becomes prey. When they see hips before hands, these curves too fine to be called a four-way stop. And we all know no stop ain't in their vocabulary. Nobody comes running to save black girls. We just left to carry the world's problems and pick up our own selves after. I'm fine on my own, but maybe I don't want to be so alone. So my hands stay wrapped around the sharp edge of my keys, because what's the value of locked doors when there's nobody home to open them? Home is but a feeling, and somebody's home away from home is now a chalk outline on the corner of liberty and justice. Because this is America, land of the free. All that glitters is not granule, rather milled, refined, distilled. Honey luck made gold sing sweet sweat upon mahogany skin. How else to reap a well-irrigated revolution? There's nothing soft about the way power chokes the air before it reaches the lung, poisons the earth, races the water back to its broken home, silences the hesitant revolt. All that glitters does not leave without a trace. The ground remembers how it's been ripened, roasted, radicalized, plucked, dried, spread thin, be it coffee or brown skin. Harvest comes just the same. All that's glitter was never meant to leave the ground. When Colonia cries out, the same coins will answer. Swap territory for colony, the coins will sing business as usual. Empire sounds better to the tune of sugar-caked hymns, and justice lies in a pool of its own promises. Say her name. They locked up history today, barred the doors, threw away the key, and called her truth false. 4 walls between her and her children said, hush. These walls not for talking, only homewrecking. It is here we learn grievance cannot be rehearsed. Justice only got catcalled once today. Not bad for a missing woman. If she's invisible in the first place, who's to say she was ever here? Sis got taken too, so now we take to the streets saying, no justice, no peace. We yell our sisters' names against the chorus of, what she have on? To which we cry, defiance. Also, she was asking for it. To which we remind them, nobody's got time to look inviting when there are revolutions growing beneath our tongues. What's that? Couldn't hear over all the white noise? It is here we learn fragility doesn't listen anyways. So as history tells us, we must repeat ourselves. No justice, no peace. Thank you. So now I'm excited to introduce our feature writer for this evening. Jamal Blatz is a writer and doctoral student in the Department of African American and African Diaspora Studies at UC Berkeley. His writing explores Blackness, queerness, visual culture, and the intricacies of sexual risk and risk-taking. His work has appeared in the catalog for the New Museum's exhibit, Trigger, Gender as a Tool and a Weapon, the SF MoMA's website in conjunction with their Modern Cinema series, and the SF MoMA Open Space. He is a member of the Oakland-based curatorial collective, The Black Aesthetic. Welcome to the mic.
So I want to thank Nia for inviting me to just share a few of my stories. I'm just going to read a few stories that I've written, some excerpts from things that I've written. So, you know, I've struggled for a long time with my relationship to the combination of Blackness and maleness. For a long time, I fought in a rather masochistic manner for my entry into the kingdom of Black manliness. Perhaps luckily, I failed at every attempt. I still can't believe I'm a Black man, a Black person I can get to, but a Black man is beyond me. Yet, I feel most like a Black man when I'm bent over the hoods of police vehicles, when he pulls me over and asks, what's that smell? When he mistakes my best friend, a Black woman in the passenger seat, for my girlfriend, I feel like a Black man. When he asks me how much I've had to drink tonight, when he asks if he can get a breathalyzer test, when he tells me the results, it reminds me that he could have lied and sent me to jail for the night, set my life on a different trajectory. This makes me feel like a real Black man. Oh, to be real. I'm in another story. I attended my first Black Gay Pride in 2000. I attended my first Black Gay Pride in 2003 during my sophomore year at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia, just 2 hours outside of Washington, D.C. At the time, Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, Georgia were considered black gay meccas because of their proportionally large black gay populations. For me, black prides turned city spaces into fantasies. I was raised in a house where my sexuality was to stay a secret forever. When I was 16 years old, my parents found some gay pornography I had mistakenly left in sight and brought it to my attention. I had a panic attack. My mother, the sweetest woman I knew, in an instant directed all her vitriol at me. I said someone planted the picture on me, an obvious lie, but my parents went with it. But not before making sure to tell me that if the picture ever got out, it would be an embarrassment to the family. In other words, if it were ever revealed that I was gay, a great shame would cover the household. Somehow, my parents let me skip church service the next day. While they were away at church, I cut up pictures of naked men and flushed them down the toilet. In 2003, on the streets of the nation's capital, surrounded by black gay men, I thought my unmentionable dreams were coming true. I met him on the internet when I was a junior in college. He said he worked in some security field but wouldn't give me his job title. After some convincing by me, he agreed to meet at a Starbucks. I was 20 and still a bit ignorant. He was tall, dark-skinned, with a slim, muscular build. He was one of the harder types in Richmond, Virginia, the only kind of men I used to like. Once, in excitement, I ran across the wide streets of Richmond to meet him. He told me men my height shouldn't run. I quickly tempered my excitement. My father was 48 years old when I was born, shook Martin Luther King Jr.'s hand, and participated in the sit-ins. There we go, okay. My father was 48 years old when I was born, shook Martin Luther King Jr.'s hand, and participated in the sit-ins. When I was in middle school, I approached him in tears because my classmates were calling me gay. He told me to stop bending my wrist. I listened. Black pride was an escape from those I or my body had to answer to. I remember bringing my tightest clothes in the brightest colors. When I got a call from the boy from Richmond, I was excited to hear he was in DC too, but I was also a little frightened about his reaction if he saw me in such tight jeans. We agreed to see each other at the club that night. That night, I was full of excitement. I still remember what I was wearing, a tight black t-shirt with pink lettering. It said something in Spanish. All I remember is the word leche. I paired it with some matching black and pink Converse brand sneakers and some cheap pink tinted sunglasses I bought earlier that day from the kiosk at the mall. That night, I was going to a party, basically blind, in order to wear these cute sunglasses in a dark club and dance with the boy I wanted. I was 20 years old, so I drank as much liquor as I could handle before I left the hotel. One of my best friends and I were in the lobby, drunk, looking for someone to drive us to the club because our older friends had fallen asleep. While downstairs, a group of older African Americans donning kente cloth stopped us and asked if either one of us knew the name of the man who organized the March on Washington. Somehow, in my intoxicated state, I quickly answered, "They arrested," but he was not given recognition because he was gay. The woman who asked the question said to her friends, "I knew he would know. As edgy as I think I look, the nerd somehow always shows." My friends and I piled into a compact car full of kind strangers. It was packed so tight I had to sit on the lap of a man I did not know and could hardly see. I had this intense anticipation to get to the club and see the boy from Richmond. The music in the car was loud, but the police sirens were louder. The driver of our small car pulled over. 3 other police vehicles showed up and surrounded us while their sirens blared and bright red, white, and blue lights flashed. Over a loudspeaker, a police officer told us all to put our hands up. For a second, all of the black men in the car thought we might die. That night, the officer gave the driver of the vehicle a citation, and we drove back to the hotel. We never made it to the club. I didn't get to see the boy from Richmond. In fact, I never saw him again. I always thought he was a cop. Alright, so another story. Tinder has for some time now allowed you to list your place of employment. There was a time when Okay, so Tinder has for some time now allowed you to list your place of employment. There was a time when I was really broke, so I took to liking every tech bro's profile that I could find on the app. We all thirst for security. At that moment, I wasn't looking for a man per se, I was looking for a meal. But neither man nor meal transpired. Tech bros never liked me back. Of course, had my plan ever developed, I would have grabbed my meal and headed home, never to speak to my kindly and inclusive suitor again. But how can I ghost you if you never answer my messages? If you won't like me back? I've been ghosted from the start. Ghosting is an online dating phenomenon where after meeting for a date, one of the parties decides to disappear from the other's life, providing no explanation and presumably much harm and confusion. My initial thesis for why tech professionals won't answer my calls was that I'm Black. Blackness as a racial category comes into being through the signification given to certain biological and natural signs. I've searched for Jamal Batts, my name, on the internet. Before the algorithm finally started to find me, the first images I would encounter were mugshots. I've also inspired by Terrence Nance's, project artist Terrence Nance's, types 25-year-old Black gay man ascending to 35 into Google and could not find a search that did not list HIV/AIDS as a top search result, a sign of the ways in which the virus has taken on a racially Black heritage through time. The internet marks Black gay men as criminal and diseased, no matter our status. In his book of poetry, Ceremonies, from 1992, Essex Hemphill asked, "Have you ever desired someone no longer on the earthly plane?" The sentiment sums up my own feelings for Hemphill. As I search outside of the ghost of white silence for someone to hold me through this loss and the alienation that comes with being caught in its vortex.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing your stories. So we don't have anyone signed up on the list, but I'm going to put Michelle on the spot because I know she was prepared to read. So would you like to come to the mic next? Yeah. Perfect. Okay, this one's called Eye of the Panopticon. There's a new eye in the city, Eye of Sauron, Tower of the Tarot, tell you the story of the fall. Except the best minds built broken beams, not in God's 7 days, but in Mark's 7 years. Progress, an opera, and failed parts. We let tech build a monument in his image, God as founder, as power, as state, as we don't take cash here anymore. And now the Panopticon, with camera eyes, trained to facially recognize you, me, brothers and sisters. We once were lost, and now we're found. And maybe if Russia didn't do it for a sick swarm on its people, I'd close my eyes and live, laugh. In the eyes of the Panopticon, Zach's 5-sided fistagon, there's a skyline chained for profit, mistaken profit. We gave up a city for a moving image, with dancers trapped at the top. I heard it's lonely at the top, but how would I know? When all I see are shadows, like those stepped-on specters. We can't even see in the eye of the Panopticon. This one is called Vanity, and it's for Medea and women who see themselves in her reflection. There are no ugly women, only lazy ones, she tells me. Sitting, staring, speaking at her vanity. And liquid becomes foundation, becomes powder, becomes shadow, becomes liner, becomes mascara, becomes more liner, becomes lipstick, becomes woman, becomes beautiful, becomes her, becomes you. And the bangles she wears stack like all the unanswerable questions, like, will he love me tonight? And I will see her eyes mist, and I will see her go through the motions of happy birthday face. And when she leaves, I will sit at her vanity. I will smell her perfume and her talcum, and I will powder my 6-year-old self and open my eyes and pucker my lips and blow myself a kiss and think, every woman deserves to believe she's beautiful. This is called Mother Lover. He had me wear his mother's clothes, a shawl, a hood, her cloak my robe. We sat in her wet roof closet, his temple my tomb. He asked me to try on her rings, as if they might fit, as if fingers can fill a hole. Each accessory transformed me into accomplice. Oh, that I would be more like her, half-dead spirit in the closet. Her arms, my arms for the holding. This last piece is called The Boy with the Cross Tattoo, and it's about the time I went to Humboldt, California. Sometimes your body is a tell to a pack of Klansmen on the hunt in Miranda, California, a place where trees outnumber people, but perhaps not buried bodies. The boy, I mean him all disrespect, stares as if he expects me to wilt. I won't. Keep the Klan on the periphery. You, broken bottle, waiting to burst. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who's shared this evening. As of now, this is everyone who's been signed up on the mic. We're still open till 8 p.m., so feel free to add your name to the list, but the space is also open, the exhibits are open till 8 p.m., so enjoy. Thank you again for coming.